What's up, Mets and overall baseball fans? Welcome back to the channel. And folks, we have a massive discussion regarding one of the top free agent relievers out there, and the potential of him landing in Queens just became far more great than ever before. But before we get into it all he asks is that if you're new to the channel, don't hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe on, helping us get a 20K subs for your next short-term goal. Thank you guys all so much in advance. And of course, I have to let you all know that today's show is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs, so make sure you head over to betonline.ag using promo code Bleav at BLEAV. That way you get a 50% off welcome bonus. BetOnline, it's where the games begin. And now, folks, let's let the show begin, because breaking news that came out earlier today, as you see here, former Southpaw reliever for the Mets and Joely Rodriguez has signed a multi-year deal, 1-year guarantee with potential of 2 with the Boston Red Sox at $2 million guaranteed. Then to the right, we see minor league pickups that the Mets made, according to Michael Mayer. Mets Rise, more depth for their bullpen, more arms. You can never have enough arms. They pick up 2 guys. One of them has some MLB experience as well, guys that have invites to spring train for 2023, and again, may crack the Mets bullpen at some point should they deal with a plethora of injuries. Fingers crossed that does not happen, however, but no problem with those pickups. So raw reactions, guys. We're talking about Joely Rodriguez because this is exactly why Andrew Chafin and the potential of him landing in Queens is greater, almost inevitable now, than ever before. After endless opportunities of trying to land this guy over the past 2 years, you know how adamant I've been about him. But Joely Rodriguez, what was he in 2022 for the Mets? Anything but consistent. Yes, he had some nice stretches down the stretch that we saw in the second half of the year, but for a Mets team that was hesitant, that did not acquire enough bullpen help, by landing a southpaw like an Andrew Chafin, who was available from the Detroit Tigers at the trade deadline, they decided to stand pat. Billy Upper says he's got trust in Joely Rodriguez, and don't get me wrong, Joely was not the worst thing imaginable down the stretch for the Mets. However, he certainly wasn't a guy that you can rely on in big parts of a game. We're talking down the stretch. I mean, key moments, 7th inning, 8th inning. He's not a guy that you could rely on against especially big opponents. He was anything but consistent for the Mets. Had some nice innings against the Atlanta Braves. I appreciate that, Joely, but that was far and away his best upside. So if you're wondering why did the Mets not bring him back on only a guaranteed $2 million deal, that shows you how much that they continue to not address things properly, and they need to do it better now than what they did at the trade deadline. They failed by not getting a lefty. Then Andrew Chafin was right there. Apparently he was too expensive, which I still find hard to believe for a Tigers team that wasn't going anywhere. It came down to his contract a little bit, I'd imagine, even though that's silly to think about. Regardless, Joely Rodriguez, when the Mets acquired him, what was his biggest issue? His walk rate. A little below average at 43 percentile in 2021, splitting time with 2 teams. If you get his command right, you like his stuff, because Joely Rodriguez this season as well, favorable numbers when you look through Baseball Savant and Fangraphs, the advanced numbers, but his walk rate was amongst the worst in baseball for relievers, especially at 6th percentile. The guy was a walks machine, and I know I'm being adamant here because it holds true. I'm very passionate when it comes to the Mets southpaw situation for the bullpen, because it's something they need to fix, and they haven't. The chase and retrieve Joely Rodriguez experiment absolutely failed flat on its you-know-what, so now they need to fix things here. How do they fix it? It's by finally going out and getting Andrew Chafin, who has a better shot of landing with the Mets now more than ever. I've been advocating for this guy for literally the past 2 years. 2021 trade deadline, the Mets acquire a reliever from the Chicago Cubs, not Andrew Chafin, but that being in Trevor Williams, who I was fine with. Love Trevor, wish him all the best if he ends up parting ways with the Mets, because he has a big market. Then you look at the past offseason, he signs with the Tigers when that, yes, a little bit of a high price point, but he opts out of a $6 million deal now to be in his 2nd year with Detroit. He's out on the market again. The Mets don't acquire him at this past year's trade deadline because they're like, you know what, we're going with Joely and Peterson. That's going to be enough. Uncertainties for your bullpen that, again, we're uncertain. We're not reliable enough down the stretch. Now you have Andrew Chafin. You look at his numbers. I've talked about him endlessly. He is exactly what this Mets team needs. A sub-3 ERA this past year for the Southpaw. But big thing, K per 9, around 11. Walks per 9, sub 3. If you look at his advanced numbers for Baseball Savant, very favorable numbers. Love it. He's got that fastball slider mix, just like Joely, who has the changeup as well. Joely, who was great again with his swing and miss rate, around 94 percentile. Doesn't matter when you're walking the entire bases loaded. It does not matter. Andrew Chafin, right around a league average in walk rate that we see through Baseball Savant over the past season. And when you add in the fact that he's been a reliable reliever for multiple years on end, has gotten his walk rate far better the past couple years than what it was earlier in his career. He's a reliable southpaw that actually gets lefties out. Who would have thought? Joely Rodriguez, what was his job with the Mets? Getting lefties out. What has he not been able to do when he was with the Mets? Get lefties out. Andrew Chafin this past year against left-hand hitters, 665 OPS, 230 batting average. Against righties, even better with a sub 600 OPS. This guy's out there on the market. Yes, he's going to be pricey because he opted out of a nice one-year deal still with Detroit. Yes, Edwin Diaz, being a $100 million man, skyrocketed all competent and above average relievers to get big paydays. Even if he's going to cost you upwards of $10 million on, to say, a multi-year deal, 2 years, you go out and do it for Andrew Chafin. He's exactly what this Mets team needs. He gets lefties out. You can put him in high leverage situation and save, non-save, 8th as a setup man, 7th, and you can get creative, especially in the scenario where Adam Ottavino does not return. But even if he does, you still should be pursuing and going all in on Andrew Chafin. There's so many reasons as to why this guy is perfect for Mets bullpen in 2023 and beyond. And I hate the fact that I'm almost ranting about this, but it's been 2 years on end that he has checked off the boxes for what this Mets team needs. And yet again, they still have not addressed it. So Andrew Chafin, who's arguably the best southpaw out there among relievers on the market, go out and get him. Steve Cohen, if there's one thing he can control, it's by acquiring players by price point alone. That should not impact the Mets too much greatly. If you're going to go out and buy some relievers, Andrew Chafin needs to be at the top of your list. I talked about him. He's in my top 5 video for free agent targets this offseason for good reason. I have him at the tippity top of my list among relievers, and you should too, folks. Andrew Chafin is just that good. He's exactly what this Mets team needs. Fastball slider mix, simple yet effective, and gets lefties out. The Mets need to address this area. They haven't in over a year now. If they don't do it again this offseason, I'm going to lose my mind. I expect them to. Andrew Chafin, I expect you to be in Queens, and that is exactly why, with the departure of Joely Rodriguez, having no true southpaws left in your bullpen at the time of being this, not Joey Fuego, not David Pearson, these are swingmans with lack of experience in the pen right now. You need a guaranteed guy, a high leverage reliever that throws with his left arm. That is Andrew Chafin. Mets, go out and get him for the final time that I'm hopefully talking about this before they actually go and do just that. But Mets fans, let me know your thoughts down below. How do you feel about Andrew Chafin potentially landing in Queens? Do you think it's a stronger likelihood now more than ever, in my opinion, and the opinions of many? If you don't like the idea of landing Andrew Chafin, please let me know why in the comments below. If you have any other ideas to address this bullpen among lefties, please don't hesitate from dropping them down below. And again, folks, if you found yourself enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to see more great Mets content like this, don't hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe button. Help us get to 20K subs for your next short-term goal. Thank you all so much. Love you all to death. We'll be back for more content after the holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to you all for people that are watching this before that. And I'm out of here. Guys, love you all. Again, let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.